Welcome to NewsNation's Backscroll, where we look back at our major news coverage on the most important topics and personalities of our time.
The whole notion of how you fall under a guardianship. You know, we have Kayne West behaving the most erratically we have ever seen. News breaking on TMZ that even Bianca Censori is done with him and wants a divorce. And we all just watched over Super Bowl the ad that he placed, the horrors that he was selling on his website. I want to ask you if anyone is starting to talk about why Kayne is not, if Wendy is under a conservatorship, why is Kayne not under a conservatorship?
Well, it's a very good question. Kayne West has a condition, and he is supposed to take his meds. He has talked about it in this very building that I'm standing in right now, and he has said that the meds tamp down his creativity. And when he takes his meds, it seems like he's okay, and when he doesn't, he flies off the rails. I don't know whether he is on his meds now or off his meds, whether he believes all this stuff about loving Hitler and Nazis or whether he doesn't. But I will say this. This should be an example of how extreme things need to be in order to create a guardianship and take people's freedom away. And you're right, I have thought the same thing, Ashley. It's amazing that if Kayne West can live his life freely, how are they locking Wendy Williams in a hotel room? It's
Same with
like
Britney Spears, you know?
So,
I wonder, and this is maybe a topic a little higher than you or I can broach, but is it because it's easier to lock the women away than it is to lock the men away? Because we know just a few decades ago, 100% that was true.
Yeah, you know, I talked to somebody on a podcast today who said exactly what you just said. And, you know, at first I thought, well, no, I know, you know, Peter Max, the artist, is in a guardianship right now in New York. So there are men who are in it. But, you know, maybe you got a point, because I was just thinking, can you imagine being Kayne West's guardian? That it's almost such a daunting proposition to make Kayne do anything that he doesn't want to do. That, you know, good luck establishing a guardianship with him that works. So maybe people shy away from it more, you know, with strong men. I don't know the answer to that. I don't know what the statistics are. And it's nothing, frankly, that I thought about until today. But it's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So let me ask you this. I was so disappointed, obviously, and so distressed to see what he was tweeting, to see the T-shirt that he was selling, that he was directing a massive Super Bowl audience to a website. You know, obviously, the cards have fallen. His Shopify was taken down. The Twitter was censored. But if you look, this is what you see now when you go on his website. Yeezy stores coming soon. It looks like it's written by a child. I'm not sure what to make of it. What do you see?
Well, I have a slightly different take than you, because I know you're disgusted and outraged by it. I have decided to reserve my disgust and outrage because you can, it applies in so many areas of life these days that, for me, Kayne West has played his hand, and I know who he is. And look, in this very office, you know, that's when he said slavery is a choice, and talked, you know, and he has talked subsequently about loving Nazis, loving Hitler. And he said, I'm not on meds, I'm not off my meds, and I'm not drinking, but this is the way I feel. I mean, we kind of know it. And if you know it, at least it's in your face, and it's not something that's subversive. I don't want to have anything to do with it. But at the same time, I get it. I know who he is, and it's just hard for me to muster the kind of outrage, because what, we're going to get outraged? You know, I'm more outraged at when it's more subversive, when it is kind of, you know, right below the surface. And that's when it's scarier to me. This guy is, so out there, and I'm sure he probably has supporters, but I mean, he's going to do it again in 6 months, Ashley. I mean, we're playing the same movie over and over again.
Well, I missed the call today. This morning I was moving about, starting my day, and I got a text from my older sister saying that she spoke with Wendy. So that was the first call, I believe, since the documentary that, actually came through. I don't know, maybe she might have made attempts, and that's what we have to deal with. So, it's the happenstance.
So she called Wanda
she got
today?
The call. I didn't speak with her. Yeah. And Wanda generally, patches everybody, but I was tied up, and but Wanda did, let me know early on so I can get my day started feeling good about that. And that
Tell
was
me,
great.
what did she
did
tell
speak with her.
Wanda? What did Wendy tell Wanda today?
Well, my day, once it got going, it got on and on. So I have the brief with Wanda probably tomorrow or maybe later on tonight or whatever have you. But I didn't speak with Wanda about the nature of the call. But I'm sure it was just, a general call. We get the calls, hey, how you doing? And, we kind of, leave it open. We don't ask or bait or anything like that because we have to make sure that we have Wendy comfortable while we're on the phone with her.
And did Wendy seem okay? Was Wanda able to tell you at least that before you decided on a debrief tomorrow?
She was excited. She couldn't wait to tell me. So that was great news. That was a great drop this morning. That was a great push into the day.
Wanda was excited or Wendy was excited?
Yeah. Well, Wanda was excited. Yeah. We get calls. I mean, it's the next call. In between the calls, we don't know what's happening. We don't know where Wendy is. So, of course, naturally, a phone call comes in. We ring it up the flagpole, and everybody's like, fantastic. We have to be thankful for the small stuff at this particular point and hold on to hope.
Do you know if she was at the treatment center when she called Wanda today?
I didn't speak with Wanda about, the nature or any type of anything. I just know that she spoke with... Hey, Tommy. I spoke with Wendy this morning. Oh, wow. Get out of here. That's fantastic. All right. Well, listen, I can't really talk now. We'll talk later on.
Okay, I'm calling you tomorrow to get the details. Once you've had your debrief.
It definitely put me up in the clouds all day.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad you've had that connection. And I definitely am going to give you a call tomorrow to check in on your debrief.
You know him from the show. By the way, he just had a great thing happen in his life. He was recently named a Stockton, California City Council member. So he's like a public servant now. We're going to play you some of his conversation in a moment, but I want to get his perspective to begin with. Jason joins us now. Jason Lee, congratulations. Do I have to call you the Honorable now? The Honorable Jason Lee.
Well, Chris, you can call me whatever you want, but I did get appointed vice mayor of Stockton, but I still have a day job, so anytime you need me, I'm here.
Still the Honorable Jason Lee. What is your take on this?
I know Wendy and Chris, what I love about the fairness and how you just set this up is Wendy has been battling her demons for a while, right? People who've been close to her like me, I've been around Wendy for the last 8 years. I've been on her show several times, been in her home. We've shared a lot of personal time together. I've seen Wendy go through her own personal challenges, but having talked to her today and being able to share that with my audience and now your audience, I have never in the last 8 years heard Wendy be so clear-minded, focused, very aware of her situation and where she is in life. And what I've gotten from it is maybe there was a period where she needed a break and she got that break, but now she wants to be with her family. She wants control over her finances and she wants to be able to control her life. The way she talked to me about her situation was that she's living in prison, that she's been held captive and that she's not allowed any freedom whatsoever. And now she's afraid that something could happen as a result of her speaking out.
So, Jason, first of all, bravo to you for telling the story, getting the access and bringing it out to advocate. Let's play some of it now for the audience.
I've had this guardian situation, this guardianship person, for 3 years.
You sound better than ever right now on the phone, so I'm confused.
Thank you. Well, you want to know what? I feel like, I'm being controlled, by the system I'm in. I feel isolated. I don't have anybody to talk to here. I eat food right here on the couch. I watch TV. I've got radio, and I look at the window.
When you talk to Sabrina Morrissey about getting out, what does she say?
Sabrina Morrissey says anything to keep me here because Sabrina's making money from me.
Do you think Sabrina's going to retaliate against you for having these conversations with us?
Look, I have no idea. Maybe she'll take away my phone. Maybe they'll move me to a new, more, decrepit location in New York. I have no idea. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm hung out to dry so that she can keep all of my money. This is why I need help. I can't do this by myself, Jason. It just can't be the family that fights for me. It has to be other people involved in the fight of my goddamn life.
Now, I will say Jason is correct in what he said during that interview. Again, I am not friends with Wendy Williams. I'm also not going to judge her health. That is not my position to do. But I'm telling you, I've been with her more than once. She has never sounded like this in terms of lucidity. Now, there is a due process consideration and there is a standard to challenge the conservatorship. Isn't that the natural route for her?
Well, that's what we're wondering. A lot of us are learning how conservatorships work, and we went through the whole Free Britney movement, so we saw what she was going through, right? In Wendy's situation, her family, for a long period of time, her son, who she loved more than anything in the world, weren't even able to contact her. They had to wait until she contacted them, and they only allowed that to happen when they wanted her to have contact. So Wendy had no money, no phone, no resource, and no way of people getting in touch with her. So for people who love her on a more personal, intimate level, like her family, they didn't even have checks and balances to make sure that her care was happening properly. And just recently, she went to Miami to be with her son during his graduation. The money had been cut off in supporting him to where he got an eviction notice on his property. And while she was there with him, there was a video that surfaced online where when she went out to find her car, the handlers didn't even know where her car was, so she was just sitting out in the street. And so one of the questions we all have now as her friends, because Charlamagne and I are committed to helping Wendy get her message out to her audience, is how is it that her family doesn't have a right to have this conservatorship reviewed? Why does Sabrina Morrissey have so much control and refusing to come forward and speak publicly, although she keeps dropping these alleged dementia claims? Why is there no accountability, and how does Wendy get due process? None of us know the answer to that, including Wendy.
It's time for your weekly scoop on the entertainment world. Just days ahead of the debut of a new Lifetime documentary, the world learned new information regarding Wendy Williams' health. The former Queen of Tea is fighting two debilitating diagnoses, aphasia and frontotemporal dementia. And now her guardian is suing Lifetime Network to stop the more than 4-hour documentary from airing. So let's bring in senior story editor Paula Froelich. Paula, great to see you. I was so sad to hear this news. I know the public is split on this, though. Obviously, Wendy Williams made a career gossiping about celebrities. Should she be given the privacy that she many times denied to others?
That's a rough question, Nicole. It is a rough question. Personally, I think she should, and I'll tell you why.
I agree.
I think that these decisions were made when clearly there was something going on that wasn't made public, but other people made these decisions for her, and they showed things that I don't know if that's what she would ever want shown. Half-empty bottles of booze, her not being in her right mind, looking really out of it. And you wonder, how could she have given the rights to this to go forward? And so I think if that is exactly what her guardian is saying, and filing for a temporary restraining order saying, you know what, she wasn't in her right mind, she couldn't have said yes.
I agree.
And I'm kind of with her.
Yeah.
It's a horrifically sad story, and there is no happy ending to this story.
There really isn't,
there's no way back. And the only thing that I can say that if it does go forward, I would like for anyone who is struggling with alcohol or their family members struggling with alcohol to really pay close attention to this. Nobody really talks about what alcoholism does to you, your brain, your body, and it constricts the brain, it causes brain damage, and we're seeing the effects of it right here.
I mean, we don't know for sure what caused this, but obviously, I heard one of her family members say she's an executive producer on this. And it's like, well, yeah, but if she doesn't.
Her son has said this is alcohol related. And if you know anything about alcohol abuse, a lot of people look at this and say, yeah, we've been here before. This is what's going on.
Well, yeah, I was just saying that, you know, obviously you can receive these diagnoses without having taken a drink in your life. All right, so we'll move on from that, Paula.
There is no question Wendy Williams has always had her fans, but now she has super fans who may end up her heroes. They took to the streets, Free Britney style, demanding that Wendy be freed from the guardianship that she's been under for almost 3 years. This is what it looked like on the streets of New York this week. The crowds were chanting right below Wendy's window because she is still stuck in a tightly controlled assisted living facility, one that she regularly calls a luxury prison. Look at her, she's loving it. But aside from the groundswell of all the public support beneath her window, Wendy may have just landed an ace in the hole in the way of a new hired legal gun. And by gun, I mean bazooka. If you follow true crime, you know this lawyer's name, and you really know his former clients, like A-Rod, Michael Jackson, even the president, Donald Trump. We heard the rumors, but here's what happened when we asked Joe Tacopina outright if he is officially on Wendy's team. Take a look.
But I am representing her. I'm a personal attorney right now. I will be entering the guardianship case one way or another, but it's a convoluted process because the judge has to approve guardianship attorneys. And the last thing they want to do is see my face in that courtroom. So, but yes, I am representing her. I am the lawyer right now.
You heard it here first. It is official. Joe Tacopina will be fighting for Wendy. And he is one of the most powerful attorneys in the business. Let me put it this way. I'm in the business of true crime, and I would hire him if I needed him. So word to the other side. Do your homework. Joe, don't play.